Princess Aurelia and the Guardians of the Cursed Village. In the heart of the enchanted forest, Princess Aurelia's legend as a beacon of hope and light continued to grow. Her long, magical blonde hair shimmered like the sun, symbolizing the magic she used to bring peace and joy to the land. One day, while exploring a new part of the forest, she came across an old, decrepit path that seemed to lead to a forgotten place. Intrigued by the mystery, she decided to follow it. The path wound through dense thickets and overgrown vines, eventually leading to a gloomy village shrouded in mist. The houses were in disrepair, and an eerie silence hung in the air. As Aurelia entered the village, she noticed that the few villagers she saw were haggard and fearful, their eyes darting nervously at every sound. "Hello," Aurelia called out softly to an elderly woman who was hurrying by. "What has happened to this village?" The woman glanced at Aurelia's glowing hair and whispered, "This place is cursed. Long ago, a powerful sorcerer cast a dark spell, and we have been living in fear ever since. Beware of the guardians of the village. They are monstrous men who protect the sorcerer's curse." Undeterred by the warning, Aurelia decided to stay and help the villagers. As night fell, she made her way to the village square, where a massive ancient oak tree stood. Under its gnarled branches, 3 figures emerged from the shadows. They were tall and imposing, their faces obscured by hoods, and their bodies covered in dark, tattered robes. Their appearance was indeed terrifying. "Who dares to enter our cursed village?" one of them growled, his voice rough and menacing. "I am Princess Aurelia," she replied, standing tall and letting her hair glow brightly. "I seek to lift the curse that plagues this village." The men exchanged glances, and one stepped forward, lowering his hood to reveal a scarred and weathered face. "I am Thorne," he said. "These are my brothers, Gareth and Rowan. We are the guardians of this village, bound by the sorcerer's curse to protect it." Aurelia's heart went out to them. Despite their fearsome appearance, she sensed goodness within them. "I believe that you are not truly evil. There must be a way to break this curse and free you and the villagers." Thorne's eyes softened. "There is a way, but it is perilous. The sorcerer's spell is tied to a dark relic hidden deep within the forest. It can only be destroyed by one with pure magic." Aurelia nodded, her resolve firm. "Then I will find this relic and destroy it." The guardians led Aurelia through the forest to an ancient, hidden cave. Inside, the air was thick with dark magic, and the walls were lined with eerie symbols. At the center of the cave, on a stone pedestal, lay the dark relic, a black, pulsating crystal that seemed to suck the light from its surroundings. As Aurelia approached the relic, a wave of dark energy surged towards her. She raised her hand, her hair glowing with a fierce light, and formed a barrier of magic to protect herself. The energy clashed against her barrier, but she held firm, determined to end the curse. The relic's power was strong, and Aurelia struggled to maintain her magic. Sensing her difficulty, Thorne, Gareth, and Rowan stepped forward, lending her their strength. They chanted an ancient incantation, their voices merging with Aurelia's magic, amplifying its power. With their combined strength, Aurelia focused all her energy on the relic. Her hair blazed with intense light, and with a final, powerful burst of magic, she shattered the dark crystal into 1,000,000 pieces. The cave trembled, and the dark energy dissipated into nothingness. As the relic was destroyed, a warm, golden light filled the cave. The curse was lifted, and the guardians' monstrous forms began to change. Thorne, Gareth, and Rowan transformed back into their true selves, strong, noble men who had once been protectors of the village before the curse twisted their forms. Back in the village, the air cleared, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The villagers, seeing the curse was broken, emerged from their homes, their faces filled with joy and relief. The elderly woman who had spoken to Aurelia earlier approached her, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Princess Aurelia. You have saved us all," she said, her voice choked with emotion. Aurelia smiled warmly. "I could not have done it without the help of Thorne, Gareth, and Rowan. They are true heroes." The villagers gathered to celebrate their newfound freedom, and the guardians were welcomed back as the protectors they were always meant to be. Aurelia stayed for a few days, helping to rebuild and restore the village, her magic healing the land and the people's hearts. Before she left, Thorne approached her. "Princess Aurelia, we are forever in your debt. If ever you need our aid, know that we will be there for you." Aurelia nodded, grateful for their friendship. "Thank you, Thorne. I will always remember your bravery and kindness." As she rode away from the village, Luna trotting faithfully beneath her, Aurelia felt a sense of fulfillment. She had made new friends and restored peace to a troubled land. Her adventures would continue, but she knew that she would always have allies in Thorne, Gareth, and Rowan. Princess Aurelia's journey was far from over, and her heart swelled with anticipation for the adventures that awaited her. With each step, she brought light and hope to the world, her magical hair a symbol of her unyielding spirit. And so, the legend of Princess Aurelia and the guardians of the cursed village spread far and wide, inspiring countless tales of courage, friendship, and the triumph of good over evil. The end. Princess Aurelia and the Return of the Evil Witch. In the heart of the enchanted fort, Princess Aurelia's legend as a beacon of hope and light continued to grow. Her long, magical blonde hair shimmered like the sun, symbolizing the magic she used to bring peace and joy to the land. Many remember the day she escaped the tall, gleaming tower where she had been imprisoned by the wicked witch Morgana. Aurelia had long since thought herself free from Morgana's grasp, but dark clouds were gathering once more. One quiet evening, as Aurelia was tending to a field of sunflowers near the edge of the forest, she felt an unsettling chill in the air. The birds, which usually sang merrily around her, had fallen silent. A dense fog began to roll in, and the sky darkened unnaturally. Aurelia knew something was wrong. Just then, a sinister laugh echoed through the clearing. Aurelia turned to see Morgana, the evil witch, emerging from the fog. Her eyes gleamed with malevolent glee, and her dark robes billowed like smoke. "Did you think you could escape me forever, princess?" Morgana sneered. "I have returned to reclaim what is mine. You will come back to the tower, and this time, you will never escape." Aurelia stood her ground, her hair glowing faintly. "I will never go back with you, Morgana. My place is here, helping the people of this land." Morgana's eyes narrowed. "We shall see about that." With a flick of her wrist, Morgana summoned a whirlwind of dark magic. Aurelia's hair glowed brighter as she summoned her own magic to counter Morgana's attack. The two forces clashed, sending shockwaves through the clearing. Despite her strength, Aurelia could feel Morgana's power growing. The witch had spent years preparing for this moment, drawing on dark forces to amplify her magic. Aurelia knew she couldn't defeat Morgana alone. She needed help. "Guardians of the forest!" Aurelia cried out, her voice ringing through the trees. "I need you." In response to her call, Thorne, Gareth, and Rowan, the former cursed guardians of the village, emerged from the forest. Their eyes blazed with determination as they rushed to Aurelia's side. "Leave her alone, witch!" Thorne shouted, brandishing a gleaming sword infused with Aurelia's magic. Morgana snarled. "You think these fools can stop me? You are gravely mistaken." With a wave of her hand, Morgana summoned shadowy minions to keep the guardians at bay. The battle raged on, the air crackling with magical energy. Aurelia and the guardians fought valiantly, but Morgana's dark magic was relentless. Aurelia knew they couldn't keep this up forever. Desperation began to set in when, out of the corner of her eye, she saw a flicker of light in the forest. It was Seraphina, the guardian of the enchanted forest, and she was not alone. Beside her stood Luna, Aurelia's wise owl friend, and Thistle, the mischievous squirrel. "We're here to help, Princess," Seraphina called out, her voice filled with warmth and power. With Seraphina's arrival, hope surged through Aurelia. Together, they formed a circle of light, their combined magic creating a barrier against Morgana's attacks. The dark minions recoiled, and Morgana herself stumbled back, momentarily blinded by the light. "Now, Aurelia," Seraphina urged, "use the magic of the forest." Aurelia closed her eyes, reaching deep within herself to connect with the ancient magic of the forest. Her hair glowed brighter than ever, the light spreading through the clearing and into the forest beyond. The trees, the flowers, and even the very earth seemed to respond to her call. Aurelia opened her eyes, and with a powerful surge of magic, she sent a beam of light directly at Morgana. The witch screamed in fury as the light enveloped her, burning away the darkness. For a moment, it seemed as if Morgana would be defeated. But the witch was cunning. With a final desperate act, she used the last of her dark magic to create a portal beneath Aurelia's feet. The ground opened up, and Aurelia felt herself being pulled down. "No!" Thorne shouted, lunging forward, but it was too late. Aurelia was sucked into the portal, and it closed behind her with a thunderous clap. Aurelia tumbled through darkness, disoriented and frightened. When she finally landed, she found herself back in the tower, the very place she had escaped years ago. The familiar stone walls loomed around her, and the single window high above seemed impossibly far away. Morgana's voice echoed through the tower. "You will never escape again, Princess. This time, I have made sure of it." Aurelia stood up, her determination unshaken. She had defeated Morgana once, and she would do it again. Drawing on the magic of her hair, she began to search for a way out. But the tower had been fortified with powerful dark spells, and her usual tricks wouldn't work. Just when she was beginning to lose hope, she heard a faint tapping at the window. Looking up, she saw Luna, the owl, peering down at her. The sight of her loyal friend filled her with renewed determination. "Luna, you made it," Aurelia called out. Luna hooted softly and flew away, only to return moments later with Thorne, Gareth, Rowan, Seraphina, and Thistle. Together, they had tracked down the tower and were ready to rescue Aurelia. "Hold on, Princess," Thorne shouted. "We're getting you out of there." The Guardians and Seraphina combined their magic to weaken the tower's defenses. Thistle, nimble and quick, climbed up the walls and slipped through the window, bringing a length of rope made from enchanted vines. "Quick, tie this around your waist," Thistle instructed. Aurelia did as she was told, and with the combined strength of her friends, she was lifted up and out of the tower. The moment she was free, she unleashed a powerful burst of light, shattering the dark spells that bound the tower. Back on solid ground, Aurelia embraced her friends. "Thank you all. I couldn't have done it without you." Morgana, weakened but still defiant, appeared in a swirl of dark smoke. "This isn't over, Princess. I will return." Aurelia stepped forward, her hair glowing with a fierce light. "No, Morgana. This ends now." With a final, powerful spell, Aurelia, Seraphina, and the Guardians combined their magic, creating a beam of pure light that struck Morgana. The witch screamed as the light enveloped her, banishing her dark magic and sending her into a deep, enchanted slumber from which she could never awaken. The dark clouds lifted, and the forest was filled with light once more. The villagers who had lived in fear rejoiced, knowing that Morgana's threat was finally over. Aurelia, Thorne, Gareth, Rowan, Seraphina, Luna, and Thistle returned to the village as heroes. The villagers celebrated their bravery and kindness, and the bond between them grew stronger. Princess Aurelia's adventures continued, her heart filled with gratitude for the friends who stood by her side. She knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their spirits united by the light of hope and friendship. And so Princess Aurelia's legend grew, a story of courage, resilience, and the power of true friendship. Her hair, shimmering like the sun, remained a symbol of the magic that could conquer even the darkest of evils. The end. Princess Aurelia and the discovery of her true parents. In the heart of the enchanted forest, Princess Aurelia's legend as a beacon of hope and light continued to grow. Her long, magical blonde hair shimmered like the sun, symbolizing the magic she used to bring peace and joy to the land. Despite her many adventures and the friends she had made along the way, there was a lingering mystery that often occupied her thoughts. Her origins. Aurelia had no memories of her parents. All she knew was that the wicked witch Morgana had imprisoned her in the tower as a child, and she had grown up there alone until she had escaped. She often wondered who her parents were and why Morgana had taken her. One evening, as she was resting by a tranquil stream, Luna, her wise owl friend, landed beside her, carrying an ancient, weathered scroll in her beak. Aurelia gently took the scroll and unrolled it. The parchment was old and brittle, covered in strange symbols and a detailed map of a distant kingdom. "This looks important, Luna," Aurelia said, studying the map. "Do you know where this leads?" Luna hooted softly and nodded, indicating that she did. Intrigued, Aurelia decided to follow the map's directions. She packed her belongings and set off on Luna's back, soaring high above the forest. The journey took them over mountains, across rivers, and through valleys until they reached a majestic castle, surrounded by lush, green hills. As they approached the castle, Aurelia couldn't shake the feeling that this place was somehow familiar. The castle gates were guarded, but when the guards saw Aurelia's glowing hair, they gasped in astonishment. Princess Aurelia, one of the guards exclaimed. It cannot be. Aurelia was taken aback. You know who I am? The guard nodded fervently. You must come with us. The king and queen must see this. Bewildered, Aurelia followed the guards into the castle. The grand halls were adorned with tapestries and portraits of noble ancestors. They led her to the throne room, where a regal man and woman sat on their thrones. The moment they saw Aurelia, they rose to their feet, tears welling in their eyes. Is it truly you? The queen whispered, stepping forward. Our beloved daughter? Aurelia's heart pounded. I don't understand. Are you my parents? The king approached, his voice thick with emotion. Yes, my dear. We are your parents. I am King Alaric, and this is your mother, Queen Alara. You were taken from us when you were just a baby by the witch Morgana. We have searched for you ever since. Tears filled Aurelia's eyes as she embraced her parents for the first time. The reunion was filled with joy and sorrow as they recounted the painful years they had spent apart. That evening, the castle celebrated the return of the long-lost princess. The halls were filled with music and laughter as the kingdom rejoiced. During the feast, King Alaric and Queen Alara shared the story of how Morgana had cursed their family and stolen Aurelia away to prevent her from growing up and claiming her rightful place as the kingdom's protector. We had almost given up hope, Queen Alara said, holding Aurelia's hand. But we never stopped believing that you were out there, somewhere. As Aurelia listened to her parents' tale, she felt a deep connection to this place and these people. But she also felt a responsibility to the enchanted forest and the friends she had made there. She shared her adventures with her parents, telling them about Thorne, Gareth, Rowan, Seraphina, Luna, and Thistle. King Alaric smiled warmly. You have done more than we could have ever hoped for, Aurelia. You have become a true princess in every sense of the word. The next morning, Aurelia explored the castle and the kingdom with her parents. She marveled at the beauty of the land and the kindness of the people. Everywhere she went, she was greeted with love and admiration. As the days passed, Aurelia began to understand her role as a princess. She worked alongside her parents to learn about the kingdom's needs and to help improve the lives of its people. She used her magic to heal the sick, bring prosperity to the fields, and protect the kingdom from any threat. But Aurelia knew that she couldn't stay in the castle forever. Her heart belonged to both the kingdom and the enchanted forest. She spoke with her parents about her desire to divide her time between the two to ensure that both realms flourished. We understand, my dear, Queen Alara said gently. You are a bridge between our kingdom and the magical forest. Your destiny is to protect and unite both. With her parents' blessing, Aurelia set off on a new journey, this time to bring the two worlds closer together. She traveled back to the enchanted forest, where she was welcomed with open arms by her friends. Together, they forged new alliances and created paths that connected the kingdom and the forest. Aurelia's life became a beautiful balance of two worlds. She spent her days in the kingdom, ruling with wisdom and compassion, and her nights in the forest, surrounded by the magic and wonder she had always known. One day, while exploring the deepest part of the forest, Aurelia discovered an ancient, hidden grove. In the center stood a magnificent tree, even older than the Tree of Ages. Its branches sparkled with countless tiny lights, and at its base was a pool of crystal-clear water. As she approached, a soft voice emanated from the tree. Welcome, Princess Aurelia. I am the guardian of balance. You have proven yourself worthy of the ancient magic that flows through this land. Aurelia knelt before the tree. I am honored, guardian. How can I serve this balance? The tree's lights twinkled brightly. By uniting your two worlds, you have already begun. But there is one more task. You must plant a seed from this tree in the heart of your kingdom. It will create a link that ensures the balance remains forever. Aurelia took the seed, feeling its pulsating magic in her hand. She thanked the guardian and returned to the kingdom. With great ceremony, she planted the seed in the castle's central garden. The ground trembled, and a sapling sprouted, growing rapidly until it became a magnificent tree, its branches intertwined with magic. From that day forward, the kingdom and the enchanted forest flourished as one. Princess Aurelia's legend continued to grow, her name spoken with reverence in both realms. She became known as the Princess of Two Worlds, a symbol of unity, love, and the magic that binds all things. And so Princess Aurelia's story was one of discovery, family, and the unbreakable bonds of love and magic. She ruled with wisdom and kindness, her heart forever open to the wonders of both her worlds. The end.